Ladies and gentlemen, Kioni has delivered devastating news to Kalonzo Musyoka and Fred Okengo Matiangi over Rigathi Gachagua's 2027 bid. I want you guys to listen very closely to the message which Kioni is delivering to the two, because Kioni is not your ordinary politician.
There are people who have been out here saying, oh, we like Gachagua anajua kupiga Ruto. Tunapendea hiyo kazi kwa sababu hiyo ndio nataka afanye. I want to tell you here, just like it was not possible before, Gachagua will run.
Yes. He will run for president.
If he runs, not if he runs. And when he runs, then the other reading lights will have to ask themselves where they will be. Kalonzo ajiuliza atakuwa wapi? Matiangi atajiuliza atakuwa
wapi?
And I can tell you that I woke up a little earlier than I do all. Than usual. I was awake by 2 a.m.
Okay.
And this thing went through my mind, and I see us back to where we were 2022. Where and this is very important for the Gen Zs, the millennials who want to join politics.
Yeah.
Politics is our kind of politics will only benefit from the people who are very clear in what they want. In the whole of this game,
yes,
including now even leader Mwananchi thing, the person who seems to have a clarity of mind as what he wants out of this whole equation, is Gachagua.
Okay.
Gachagua wants to build a very strong political party called DCP.
Yes.
He wants X number of members of parliament. He wants to control he wants to control government from parliament. People admire that clarity of mind, and they then are taken away from you by the determination to achieve that which is clear to him, whether you like it or not.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've always opined on this platform that in politics nothing happens out of mere coincidence. That message by Kioni is actually intended to achieve certain political objectives. And for those who've been following this channel, you remember when I insisted that Rigathi Gachagua was going to be on the ballot in 2027, and the kind of abuse and insults I received on this platform, because most of you guys believed that Rigathi Gachagua was just going to be a kingmaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to dig deeper into what Kioni said and ask ourselves a few questions. But first of all, what is Kioni trying to say? Kioni is very clear that it's a matter of when he will run.
I want to tell you here, just like it was not possible before, Gachagua will run.
Yes. He will run for president.
If he runs, not if he runs, and when he runs.
And is asking, where will Kalonzo, Matiangi, and even Linda Wananchi be?
Yes. He will run for president.
If he runs, not if he runs, and when he runs, then the other reading lights will have to ask themselves where they will be. Kalonzo ajiuliza atakuwa wapi? Matiangi atajiuliza atakuwa
wapi?
He's very clear on that. Because according to Kioni, and this is the truth, Rigathi Gachagua is a very smart politician. And if you look at the current political situation in the Republic of Kenya, the only political player with a clear plan is Rigathi Gachagua. And Kioni is putting it very clearly that, number one, he's planning to create a strong political party. Nobody can doubt that today DCP is a very strong political party. So that is his first step, create a very strong political party. And then Kioni is adding that after creating the party, his next step is the number of MPs. That Rigathi Gachagua has a clear plan on how he wants to win several seats. If you look at Nairobi, he's already having plans. Mount Kenya, he has plans of winning. And of course, he's also trying the Ma community, which means he wants to create a strong political party and then have as many MPs, as many senators, as many governors and MCS as possible.
In the whole of this game,
yes,
including now even leader Mwananchi thing, the person who seems to have a clarity of mind as what he wants out of this whole equation is Gachagua.
Okay.
Gachagua wants to build a very strong political party called DCP.
Yes.
He wants X number of members of parliament. He wants to control he wants to control government from parliament. People admire that clarity of mind.
Once that's concluded, according to Rigathi Kioni, his third step is to control parliament. And controlling parliament would mean if he becomes the president, he will have control over parliament. And even if he wants to become the president, still nobody will ignore him. He will achieve what Raila Odinga always achieved. And in fact, this has always been his dream. That Raila Odinga never became the president, but always controlled politics. Ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi Gachagua is a shrewd political player. And yesterday, I did a video on this platform about Rigathi Gachagua's potential bid for 2027. I want to ask you guys to just watch that video. I'm going to pin it in the first comment. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into those details, allow me to ask you to subscribe. But let me ask the first question. What do you think will happen? And I want you to answer this question. What do you think will happen to Kalonzo Musyoka and Fred Matiang'i's bid should Rigathi Gachagua run for the presidency? That is the first question. Because Kalonzo and Matiang'i and their bid are pegged on the mountain. If Rigathi were to run today, he's going to lock Mount Kenya. So which means Kalonzo cannot get votes from Mount Kenya. Matiang'i cannot get votes from Kenya. So what will happen to them? For me, I think the first thing they can do is to run as individuals. Let Matiang'i run, let Kalonzo run. They'll get their MPs, then maybe use them to negotiate. Because politics is about interest. And their interest is more important than any other thing. So they can just decide, let me run as Matiang'i, win the Kisii votes, and those who will support me. Then Kalonzo, let me run, win the Kamba votes. Then see what happens next. So that's the first thing which will happen to them. Number two, they can actually team up, the two of them. Let's say Fred Matiang'i now agrees to be Kalonzo's running mate so that they can consolidate their support. So that when they come to Ukambani, they win the seats. They come to Kisii, they win the seats. In Nairobi, a combination of Kamba and Kisii, and of course, Matiang'i has a bit of support from the mountain with Uhuru Kenyatta factor. They can win a few seats here and there and maybe use that to negotiate. Importantly, I think they can figure out how to be useful during the rerun. Let them just run. But because Rigathi has numbers already, in a contest where Rigathi Gachagua is running and the mountain rallies behind him, he can either become number one or number two. So they can wait for the rerun now to make deals. And importantly, this is remote, but very possible. They can agree now to support William Ruto's bid because their bid was pegged on Rigathi and Mount Kenya. So if Rigathi is running, they can't get Mount Kenya. So the option would be to enter into a deal with William Samoei Arap Ruto. So that answers the first question as to what happens to Kalonzo and Matiang'i if Rigathi Gachagua were to run. Number two, the second question, can Mount Kenya vote for Kalonzo or Rigathi and not? And the second question which I want to ask you guys, do you think Mount Kenya can vote for Kalonzo or Fred Matiang'i and not Rigathi? With all the work Rigathi Gachagua has done and with all emotions Rigathi Gachagua has been able to evoke in the mountain, do you think the mountain can say, okay, Rigathi, you are good, but now you are on the ballot, but we are going for Kalonzo or we are going for Rigathi? We are going for Kalonzo or Matiang'i. I don't think if that's possible. The mountain will vote for Rigathi because our politics is largely tribal. So they'll begin from there. one of their own on the ballot, he will be able to persuade them that, we need these numbers. This is what Raila Odinga used to do. We have the numbers. Even if you don't become president, let us put our votes in one basket. But the main question, which is actually the elephant in the room, who benefits if Rigathi runs? Because politics is a game of numbers. You can't tell Rigathi Gachagua not to run. He has the numbers. If you were to take a pen and a paper, Mount Kenya has the numbers. Rigathi Gachagua is now right at the heart of the people of Mount Kenya. But who benefits if he runs? The beneficiary is William Ruto. And because the beneficiary of Rigathi Gachagua running is William Ruto will ensure that Rigathi Gachagua is actually on the ballot. And this is something which I used to tell you guys long time ago. But most of you, that time, there's a time here. There's a time here I could not say these things. But now I'm saying them boldly because just like I kept on saying at that time, in politics, vindication is the most important thing. It's always good just to stick to analysis, regardless of what people would want to hear. So, if Rigathi runs today, the beneficiary is going to be Ruto. And my last question is, what about Linda Wananchi? Where do we now place Linda Wananchi? Bob Wino is making it very clear that Linda Wananchi will have a presidential candidate. So, in a situation where Linda Wananchi will have a presidential candidate, it simply means that we are going to have serious presidential candidates, 3 of them, or maybe 4. We are going to have William Ruto defending. We are going to have Linda Wananchi, either Orengo or Sifuna, but probably Sifuna. We are going to have Rigathi coming with his numbers of the mountain. Then we are going to have Kalonzo, maybe Matiangi. Now, the only way to defeat Ruto is through a united opposition. Any slight mistake by the opposition will hand Ruto the victory. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time. And by the way, the remark Kioni is not your ordinary politician. This is Uhuru Kenyatta's mouthpiece. He delivered Uhuru Kenyatta's message to these guys. But from what I can see, even Jeremiah Kioni himself might join Rigathi Gachagua to win his seat back in 2027. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.